Hey everybody, we're starting season 2 with episode 1, and we are bringing back one of our most popular guests, Wes Spinks. He is down here in our area doing some hunting, and he has his sons here today, which we'll get around to introducing. I have conned my wife into sitting into the podcast with us today as well. I don't know how long she'll camp out with us, but she's going to sit in for a while and take some questions and ask some questions from everybody. Again, the name of the podcast is Birddogs, Bourbon, and the Good Life. And so the obvious name is Bourbon. We have 3 bourbons we're going to try tonight. So obviously it's going to be a long podcast. I'm going to introduce the one we brought is Horse Soldier Reserved Barrel Strength. It's 121 proof. I haven't tried this one yet. We have tried the other Horse Soldier, the bronze, is that right?
I don't know. I think it was a rye, wasn't it?
I don't remember. But Wes brought this one, so he can introduce that one.
This is what Wilderness Trail. It's a small batch. I have no idea. We have a little liquor store in my hometown, locally owned, has been forever, and they've been trying to carry some more bourbons and whatnot. So I've been trying to help them out with consumption. And of course, my go-to is Ezra Brooks, and so these are different ones, and I don't know anything about them other than they were there and now they're here.
And this is the second one Wes brought. I'll let him introduce his own bourbon.
Noah's Mill, and the reason I brought this one is he always thinks my cheap stuff isn't hot enough, and so this one is 114 proof, and so I was hoping I could make him happy.
Well, we'll see. This one looks interesting. So we're going to start here. We're going to start with Noah's Mill. And Carson, you're going to have to kind of walk over here, brother.
Don't pour me a lot. Thank you.
You need more, Wes?
Oh, that's probably good enough for right now.
I think that's pretty close.
I'll probably end up going to the other room getting the Ezra by the time it's all over and said and done anyway.
He's like, I gotta drink that crap straight.
I'll do it.
Smells good.
Okay. Here comes the taste. Again, this is Noah's Mill, genuine bourbon whiskey, handmade in the hills of Kentucky. This is batch bourbon, like Wes said, 114 proof. Does smell good.
I like it.
Oh, that's not that hot.
Mm-mm.
We're also drinking it over ice.
Right.
So these are aged in new charred.
What do you think
oak
about that,
barrels.
Carson?
It's pretty good.
You like that?
Drink that again, would you? Yeah. So what was the price point on this?
I want to say 70 to 80.
Pretty good. That is pretty good. It is 750 milliliter. Okay. So I am going to kick back a little bit now. And so Wes, what was the name of that liquor store?
S&B Liquors in El Dorado Springs, Missouri. And that bottle, the Nose Hill, was $70.
Okay.
And they're, like I said, they're a locally owned little business and have been there for a long time. And it's kind of nice not to have to go to Carthage to get something if a person wants something special for guests or whatever.
So everybody knows, how far is Carthage from you?
We're about an hour, 60 miles from Carthage, and 50 miles to Carthage, and it's 15 miles. Because the nearest gas pump would be in the same town. The nearest gas pump to my house would be in the town where this liquor store's at.
So 15 miles?
15 miles, yeah.
So what you're saying is, when your wife shows up with an empty tank of gas, you better have a 5-gallon bucket?
Well, yeah, we've got gas there on the ranch, but, you know, but I don't know. But yeah, to get gas, you don't want to go out there and be empty. That's for sure.
So why don't you introduce your boys one at a time and have them tell a little bit about themselves?
My oldest son is Buster, and Wesley Davis is his actual name, and his mother wanted to name him Wesley, and I thought it'd be odd to call him my own name, so I decided to call him Buster. Then it just stuck, and we should have just named him Buster to begin with, I guess.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Buster. Other than that, you got that pretty curly hair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it is natural. That's usually what starts most conversations with new people is if my hair is natural or not. I've been on a ranch since the day I was born. I think I was 2 weeks old the first time I was on a horse, and they're probably my favorite animal. The first time I came out here, it was a pretty cool experience. I was 15, turning 16, and the way my dad described it was, we're gonna go shoot pheasants. I was like, okay. And there wasn't much description other than that. And whenever we got out here, Steve and Jessica, they're amazing. They're amazing people to hang out with. They're even better cooks. That's kind of the running joke.
Probably
right
wouldn't
now.
put up with them if I didn't think.
They wouldn't be so amazing if we didn't know how to cook.
Be like, I ain't coming back there. They suck at cooking.
It's always a great time. This is the smallest group that we've had. Just a dad and son hunt, which is nice. I love it. Yeah. A few months ago, I broke my leg, and whenever we came out here for the annual birthday, New Year's hunt, it was just good to have something that couldn't be taken away after so many things that had been. So, really appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Next.
The next is the middle son, and he's the one that gets left out all the time, according to him. Gets forgotten. Oh my goodness, we have 3? I didn't. Reed. And, Reed, my favorite story about Reed is he comes to me one time with we were gone. Melissa and I were gone on our 25th anniversary trip, and Reed sends me a text that he wants to buy this mini bike, and I said no. And the next text I got back from him was too late. I already bought it. I was like, "How much did you spend on it?" He says, $125, $100, whatever. And I, well, that's down the drain. So we get home. By the time we get home, just a few days later, he's got this thing tore down and spread all over the shop. And I thought, oh, now it's going to really cost a lot of money to put this thing back together. It's going to be a basket case now. And I thought, so then he keeps coming to me about telling me that he needs this motor, and he found it on the internet, and need to go get this motor, And I thought, how do you even know that's the right motor? And so I wouldn't do it. So he got a job cleaning dishes at a little restaurant that's out in the country by us, and the next thing you know, we're at Harbor Freight, and he's got cash.
Old ones.
Yeah, mostly ones for tips. And the gal behind she was exactly, what were you doing to earn this money?
You're not that old, so let's not even walk that
And
path.
so, anyway, he gets the motor, and about 2 weeks later, I see him out there riding it, and I'll this is how mechanical I am. I'm pretty sure that an automatic transmission has magic in it. So that's about as much as I know about vehicles, and or of any sort. But he's out there, got it put together and running it. So he's kind of the mechanical mind of the family.
And what's your middle name?
Alan. Yeah. I don't really know.
This is your chance to not feel like you're left out. So speak
Spotlight's
up.
on you, Reed.
Spotlight's on you.
Don't pass out.
Don't pee
So
your
you like
pants.
doing mechanical stuff?
Yeah, we got Kubota. I did all the servicing on all the Kubotas because the guy that we bring over there doesn't do diddly squat. with them. We get
With what?
like
They're
servicing-
Kubota tractors.
No,
Oh,
the
Kubota tractor, okay.
side by sides.
Oh,
yeah, like
okay.
the ATV things, and the oil looks like it hasn't been changed for who knows how long since we bought it. Battery that went dead, even though we asked them to get it changed. It was like, so I did it myself, got it all done. And,
Is that what you want to do?
yeah.
When
I
you
wanna
get
be a
old.
mechanic.
That's cool.
Be a mechanic, but run your own shop.
Yeah, I was gonna like doing all the farms around, like Lockwood, like all the farm people I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like have my own little servicing truck and go out there. And
Or you just
Be a
want
mobile mechanic.
yeah, and
There
then
you
do
go.
my own stuff at my shop, and then do the stuff on the ranch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're set up, brother.
Yeah, I told him I'd buy him all the stuff when I was learning
And
to
how
be a
old are
mechanic. I
you?
said, I'll buy you all the
14.
machines. We can do pickups and fix some.
Yeah.
You know, because everything now you have to plug it into something to
Yeah,
figure it out. So.
100%.
So you still have a job?
No, that's it. I can't do that anymore. I got to work on the ranch. So I did all summer. Just we did all the fields, and we were doing cattle, doing mineral. So that was fun. Buster didn't do anything.
Whatever.
Here it goes. We're going to fuel this fire here in a minute. So, why don't the two of you explain in more detail? You did a little bit, Buster, but between the two of you, explain what you guys are doing down here this weekend and how special it is to you.
Okay. Yeah.
You're going to have to talk some because you're both going to have to say how special it is to you and explain why. And I'll get to the reason why I'm asking this and asking you to explain it here in a minute, but just kind of elaborate on how you guys feel. I think the bourbon's a little strong for Jessica. She just,
I don't like plain bourbon.
yeah. So, go ahead, guys.
So, like I said, the first time we came out here, all I knew about it was that we're gonna shoot pheasants, and I think the first 4 or 5 times we came out, there was an Arctic blizzard.
Every time.
Every single time, we'd either be coming here on icy roads or be leaving here on icy roads. There was no in between.
You know, we do this is the first year that your dad hasn't shown up and brought horrible weather with him. So let's cross our fingers. The wind's gusting pretty good today. Let's hope he's not bringing something.
Most of the time, I've got pictures of with ice and the beard. And,
Snot sickles.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Dogs getting to death.
yes, yes.
We had
That-
jackets the one time.
Yep. Yeah, I had to get jackets because they so the storm they were talking about with the jackets is, if everybody remembers, when that horrible front came through and went all the way down to Texas and froze up everything. They were here hunting that day when it came through.
That was
We were out in the morning and it
horrible.
was beautiful, and by noon everything went south. We should say north because the temperature was extremely low. And then the next day we went back out hunting in 25 mile an hour winds. I think the wind chill was somewhere around -5.
And it was definitely hard to put out freaking pheasants and spin them and then throw them in the damn ground and then run back to the truck.
Yes,
Because it was so damn cold outside.
It was very, very cold. So that's what they're talking about. So every time Wes shows up, he brings something like this with him until this year. This year's been pretty decent. He did bring some bad wind today, but we got through that.
Well, it was because we came this year. Well, we've been here 4 times this year. Once with the camo hunt with the veterans,
Yep.
which I wasn't hunting, and that was just stellar weather. I mean, it was.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, and then the guys from church came out, and then
The New Year's hunt.
the New Year's
birthday New Year's
birthday
hunt.
every year hunt, and so. But you guys have been out here three times. This
Yeah.
is your 3rd time
Yeah,
this year.
Close 4.
Well, you didn't come with the men's
Lutherans
With,
men's group.
With Zach. Not Zach. It was,
What?
well, when I had the guys hunt, it was just like us and. Oh.
That was like a year ago for Spencer's
Yeah,
birthday.
Yeah, that was a year ago. Yeah, I was just talking about this year. You've been here
Oh.
just 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This hunting
Oh, I thought you
season.
meant like.
Yeah, this hunting season, you guys have been here 3 times. You guys have been here 3 times. He's been here 4 times. So, before we all rudely interrupted you, go ahead.
Yeah, with us being here so often, it feels like a home away from home. Maybe not like another dad, but definitely like one of those crazy uncles.
One of those crazy uncles.
Yeah. It just feels so cozy, and even whenever we're out cleaning the birds after the hunt, it feels like, it doesn't feel like a job at all. It just feels like this is just part of the hunt. And
Yep.
part of the feeling of hunting right these days.
Yeah.
And getting the chance to spend time with your dad.
Yep. This is senior year,
Yeah.
and might be going out to Colorado for the summer job, but
So, what's his summer job in Colorado?
I've looked into it a little bit, and it'd be guiding horseback rides and possibly ATV rides also.
You better stick with the horse.
Yeah.
I've seen you drive an ATV.
Yeah. But yeah, growing up with horses, I'd definitely be more on the horse side probably. It's just a different feeling having that connection with any animal, but definitely horses. Horses just make it special. They're the best. Coming back now. It's just one of those places where even whenever you have all your life stuff happening and school, you come here and it's like, okay, we're hunting. We're gonna be Billy Badasses.
You can leave all the other stuff behind
Yep.
for a weekend
Yep.
and just enjoy the time with your family or whoever you're here with, and gain weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Easily. That's been very easy.
So
Well, you don't leave hungry, that's for sure.
No.
You do it your own fault.
Yeah, you leave here hungry, it's your fault. So, Reed, what's your thoughts on this weekend?
Well,
And-
the first time that we ever came here, I didn't really know what a pheasant was.
Ah.
Like we only saw them because the people across the road, they did pheasants, like they had raised pheasants and dogs and stuff.
Mhm.
So some pheasants might get out or some quail. We might see them in the ditch or something. And that's like the only time I ever saw a quail or a pheasant. And whenever we came up here, we just saw like all the pheasants running around in the yard and everything. Like me and Buster and Liam were like, what the heck?
We're like licking windows.
And then, like, whenever we, like, you were showing us, like, because we never did anything like that before,
Yep.
so you, like, showed us, like, out in that little pasture up there, and, like, the pheasant flew up, and, like, me and Buster jumped. So, yeah, and then, I don't know how good I did that first year that we did it.
I think
Everybody shot a bird.
Yeah, I shot a, like, yeah, we all shot a bird, but,
so. With that being said, do you guys remember what we did to make sure everybody got a bird?
Yeah.
Could you explain that a little bit?
Oh, so if we saw like a dog's point on one, you'd like call us over there and be like, "Hey, you're ready," and then just like give them a practice shot or you know, like a bit
Little warning shot.
Little warning shot.
But then you call us over there and you throw a water ball at it if it needs to, and then fly up and shoot it.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to come here. Like Buster said, it's cozy. It's like home away from home. It's pretty fun.
Good.
And you guys always enjoy the food.
I mean, that's not even a question.
That's not even a question.
I remember this. I do remember the story that you told us about how you had a kids hunt and you felt the wind. above your
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, that the time I almost got killed. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I say awesome, that was absolutely horrible. And
So how did you become a dead shot then?
Practice.
Practice?
Yeah.
You practice a lot at home?
Not really. It was just kind of go with the feeling. I like shotguns.
He's my younger brother, so just kind of.
oh, that wasn't arrogant at all, was it, Buster? Yeah, yeah, he's my younger brother. It just rubbed off. He just got it through osmosis.
Osmosis.
So, a little story
It's funny.
on Reed. That horrible snow day, where we're trudging through this snow and heavy grass and everything else. And Reed is so on fire that day. A bird flies up. We're walking into the wind. We're all freezing. Faces are all frozen. And this bird comes up. He nails this bird, and he nailed it so fast that I didn't have time to turn to get out of the feathers. And so I get back to the lodge, and I'm like, what are these little dots? So he nailed it so fast. There were little speckles all over my glasses. And I'm like, well, that was pretty quick shot there, Reed, buddy. So, yeah, he did. Reed is pretty good shot. But if you ask your dad, no one ever gets a bird but him.
It's a good thing I show up whenever you need
Yeah.
here.
You know, the funny thing is we're sitting there and we were just talking about how many birds you guys got, and you guys said you got 16 today, and I was like, you better ask your dad. I think he thinks he got 18. With you guys' time out here, and this is the very, very first time you two have ever been able to hunt just with your dad. What does that mean to you? Just the aspect of being able to say, we're just here with our dad this time. Because you guys have been here, I think, altogether somewhere between 9 and 12 times. Okay? But you've never just been here with your dad. It's never been that opportunity that I feel is very rare to be able to go do something with your dad. So what does that kind of mean to you guys? To be able to hunt with your dad, just you two?
It's kind of like first time ever going deer hunting
Mhm.
or school hunting. We never got anything, but like 4 years later, you might get I finally got my first buck last year, so that was nice.
So
That's cool.
what you're saying is it's something you're going to remember for a lifetime.
Yeah, 100%. But it's just getting like that meaningful, fun time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's like, I was going to say the same thing. Well, it was the second buck that I got, but me and him had gone out in the morning real early and stayed there all day. Or did we go in?
I don't know that we
I
went
don't
in.
think-
I think we packed a lunch
Yeah.
and stayed in the stand all day.
All day long. We were out there. And it was the second day of doing that.
And it got warm that day.
Mhm.
So in the middle of the day,
We were shedding.
yeah, we were sitting in there in our long handles, with
Yeah.
all the windows of the blind open. I'm sure our scent was blowing out everywhere. It was like he had to do something to get some cooled off. Those things get
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
they hold heat really well.
And we were about to go in. We were both like, well, this was fun, but we were both done with the day. And Dad goes, "Oh, look, there's a big buck." And I look, and there's nothing there. and a couple minutes go by, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta get him back," but it's gonna be funny, but not as funny if I do it, because he already did it. And then I turned to my right, and he's either on his phone or
We were
something.
packing up. We were
Yeah.
packing everything
Yeah.
up.
And I look to my right, and like, whoa, there's a big buck. And Dad gives me one of these, like, yeah, right. One of those looks, and he turns, he's like, whoa, that is a big buck. He's just walking down the tree line, and I smack him. That was a cool hunt.
Yeah.
It's just, the story is with you. It's like, not just in your brain, it's in your heart.
Oh yeah. Forever.
Yeah.
So, who told your dad we should be hunting bear? What was that?
That was
story?
Buster.
That was
Yeah.
Buster.
That was the
Yeah.
first time you ever went out with me deer hunting. We were sitting in that tree stand, and there was just deer all over. And of course, when I go hunting, I don't. Most of the time, when we're out here, I like to be. And I know it's not the same every time, but most of the time when we go out here, the first 2 or 3 birds are usually going to be the left hand of the line is going to get is higher chance of them having a chance at this birds, and then after that, it seems like that left hand side of the line doesn't, especially the extreme, that the very far end left guy probably doesn't get to shoot much after that. I mean,
Depending on how much lead's flying and how much the bird's still moving.
Yeah, where they're going and how it is. But for the most part, he gets some pretty just him chances at the very beginning, and then it's not as much after that. And I kind of like that, because I want to, when I first go out, I want to shoot something right off the bat, and then after that, I'm just happy to go with the whole deal. And the other thing is with any kind of hunting, and I think these boys can attest to this, that if I get something, I get something, but if I don't, it's not that
Big of a deal.
big of a deal. I get my enjoyment out of the hunting. I should take a camera as well as a rifle, because I'd probably do way more hunting with a camera. But anyway, we're out there and there's does everywhere, and he's just wanting me to shoot something. He wanted me to shoot something. I said, no, I was only going to shoot a big buck. And we get down out of there. They're snorting and carrying on, and I mean, they're just all around. The wind's the wind was in our face, but they were coming from behind us and everything else. And finally, we leave, and he goes, "That's why I like bear hunting, because you just walk around the woods, and then when they come after you, you shoot them."
When it come out.
But Reed had struggled getting like busted though. That's about the first year you were hunting with a rifle. You got a deer, and Reed struggled. Now Reed had a really good turkey. You've never gotten a turkey, I don't think,
Nope.
because you kind of never were interested in it, and then later you kind of had some interest in going. And by that time, all the turkeys were gone.
Yeah.
And Reed went out turkey hunting for his first time on the last year that we had a lot of good numbers. And but Reed struggled with that buck deal. We just couldn't get him. And it never failed. If we went out there, okay, he said, I'm going to shoot whatever we see. I said, that's fine, you can shoot whatever. And we wouldn't see anything. Nothing, would we? Sit there for days. And then we'd go out, okay, I'm just going to shoot a buck. And then there'd be does everywhere or something, It's ridiculous. Then he had a little buck fever the first opportunity he got at a buck. Missed. And
We went doe hunting.
then we went doe hunting.
Missed.
Missed. And so I was like, what in the world is going on? So we sat down just one Sunday afternoon, because I had shot the rifle. I knew he had shot it too. But I said, let's see if there's something wrong with this rifle or scope or something. Because after the first one, I didn't think too much about it.
Yeah.
but after 3,
It's time to go. What's
I was like,
going
wait
on?
a minute here. So I shot the rifle and it was spot on. And so I thought, but maybe, different people hold it different, whatever. He shot a better group than I did with the rifle.
Just
I said,
jerking.
I think he was just nervous. It was just, and then after that, you settled right down because the next one, when you got your deer, it could not have been any more perfect. I think he just needed to get
Clean placement.
And then didn't he hit the hot wire fence?
Yeah, there was a 3-wire hot wire fence, and of course, where you need to shoot at was right where that wire was at, and he hit that wire, and it tumbled into the deer because it had a keyhole.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can say, I'm such a good shot, I can cut a hot wire.
Yeah.
Grandpa.
Then he went back out and fixed it.
He called me all mad 'cause he had to go fix it.
Oh, that's funny. So, I've asked you guys what it means to you. Have you heard what it means to your dad yet?
I like it. Not in person.
We're going to hear out. So, one of the big things that we really stress on the podcast is hunting is not just about getting game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you stress that. These guys, they're not quite to that level yet where it's not so much about game. They're getting there. You can tell by the way they're talking that, it's the experience I love. It's it's being able to remember the things we did with my dad or my family or whatever. So we're old.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean to you to bring your boys out on a father-son hunt or father-sons hunt?
Well, and let's go back to what about hunting, not just being about. I think there's a lot of people that don't know. Will say, yeah, whatever. You're just making that up to try to make it. But and I am not saying that I don't want anything. If I didn't care,
Yeah.
if I didn't want to go shoot a big deer, when I went out, I'd take a camera. I wouldn't take a gun.
True.
I want to go shoot a big deer, but if I don't, it's
Not that big of a deal.
then I'm okay not doing it. But now let's go back to the first time I came out here, which we told that story the last time I was on the podcast.
Well, I can't remember.
It was
anymore.
about I don't know. Anyway, I won it on a Wild
Turkey,
Turkey Federation auction thing. Anyway, came out, and my big thing when I was out here, I was like, man, I don't need to take my boys out here because we don't have the quail. They don't get that quail hunting that I did when I was a kid, where we're at. And so, it's like, man, this would be really cool and bring them out here. And so I thought, man, I'm just gonna plan a hunt for. And then it seemed like every time, I don't know if I'd asked them or it just seemed like we invited
other
people that were their friends, Melissa and I's friends, and it just turned into being that type of a thing.
Yep.
And so then we had the opportunity this year to just do this with just us. I took it, and I don't probably, I think it means something to them right now. I guarantee it does, but they probably when they're my age,
they're gonna really.
that's when it'll probably
really
mean something
sink
to
it.
them.
So what does it mean to you
Well, now it's just I don't know.
to bring them out?
To
here?
bring them out here to share something that is I've enjoyed, that they can enjoy, and this is a lifetime sport.
Yes.
Truly, this upland game bird hunting. When I was growing up, all the old men were quail hunters, and part of it was because it was easy. You didn't have to drag the big buck to the back end. It really is. It's something that they could go with their dog and go. Or not a dog, just go stomp some brush piles or whatever. And so this is their lifetime sport. And I think my dad took me hunting, not to a great extent, but he did go with me because I wanted to hunt, and I was too young to hunt by myself. And he took me, and that means a lot to me. It meant a lot to me then. It means more to me now because he wasn't a hunter. he would go hunt. We always called him as his possum hunting costume, because he sits in his long johns. It's his relaxation, and he'll go out after the sun goes down and close up his chickens. Well, he'll have troubles from time to time with coons and possums and stuff, and he goes out with his .22 rifle and his long johns and his rubber boots, to close up his chickens and
knee-high muck boots.
Yeah, knee-high muck boots
in long johns.
Long
Yep,
johns.
yep.
And his .22 and a flashlight. Yeah. And, so we always called it his possum hunting costume. But other than that type of a thing, more of a guardian of livestock in some nature, he really wasn't much of a hunter. And I know he hunted some when he was young, but not when. I've never been a man to go out, take a rifle, go out and sit by himself and hunt anything. And so it really meant a lot to me for him to take me. And there's times when I've told them, well, I went deer hunting this year by myself once, and I went over to the hunting cabin that we have and spent the night by myself and hunted the next day by myself, and it's kind of nice to get out there and do that. But I don't want to be the dad that goes and just does that and forgets their
Kids.
Yeah, because I see that.
Yeah.
They love to hunt so much they just don't think about anybody else when they're doing it. And it's not. I love to hunt. I love to go almost really any kind of hunting. But if I can't share that with somebody, it doesn't.
Have you ever done any coyote hunting?
Yeah. We're never have been very good at calling them. My best success at coyote hunting is the rifle behind the seat in the pickup when you're feeding cows. Smacked a lot of coyotes over the years feeding cows. So whether that's, I don't know. Hopefully I didn't. It's
not illegal. You're protecting your calves.
You're right. That's but no, that's always been. That was always. Now, back when I was a kid, they run a lot of dogs in my area. There was a lot of guys that ran dogs, and we have a lot more coyotes than we used to without those guys.
So, I don't think you've answered my question.
What does it mean to me?
What does it mean to you to bring your boys out here?
Well, I think that's a culmination of being a parent, is that you raise your kids.
You're avoiding the question.
No, I'm
No,
not.
he's not.
I'm messing with him.
And so what it means to me is I'm trying to be the best dad I can be.
Yeah. And so this little experience in this, I'm trying to pull it out of you because I know it's there. I see it in his face. He just won't say it, and I'm trying to get him to say it. You're going to remember this forever.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like the very first time you brought your boys out to hunt. I remember taking them. So they'd never hunted before. They didn't know what pheasants were. They've already told you all this. So, and Reed kind of started telling you about this. So Wes said, hey, take them kind of on a little mock hunt and let's walk them down so they understand what they're supposed to do. So we had them hold the guns and everything else. And so they walked down the road and we hit a little grass spot. And I think that's where the bird come up, scared you guys. And then we're coming back. And I remember very vividly the look on Wes's face, because you two were with me and Wes was just kind of standing at the road, how he felt about the situation. He was so happy that he was able to provide this for you, and that's what I'm trying to get him to talk about, but he just isn't spitting it out.
Well, I think it's being able to do that and provide those kinds of things, but I don't know that. How do I say this word makes sense? I think sometimes we don't think we're good parents because we can't provide this or that. Well, you can do something.
Yeah.
You know, just I've been fortunate enough in the last few years to be able to do this. But we could have went and sat under a tree on a rock and hunted deer,
Yeah.
like I did with my dad, and it would have been just as much, if not more. Really, I mean,
Or go fishing or
you guys
anything.
do you guys like fishing a lot?
we don't fish a lot, and I don't know. I used to fish when I was a kid, but we haven't fished a lot. We've got poles, and I've got poles for
Yeah.
everybody, and
We had a fish trap for a little while, and we would put dog food in it and check it every day, and we would
Dog food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
it works.
Bait. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we trap them up, and we were
trying to restock.
Yeah,
We have
restock.
one pond that's got like, it's just like gobs and gobs of fish, and they're about that long,
Yeah.
and their head's about that big.
yeah.
It's just they're stunted, you know, because there's
Yeah,
so
'cause
many
there's
of
so
them.
many of them.
And so you can't hardly even. I mean, they're just tiny. So I bought a fish trap, and so I said, well, let's trap them in there. And we'll take them out, put them in a 5-gallon bucket, and drive them over to because we have a really nice big pond that we had recently had it cleaned out. Well, it's not so recently now. It's been several years now, but of course, being it dried out, the emergency spillway washed out, so it went completely dry, and then we had it pushed out. So obviously, there's not going to be any fish in it.
Yep.
So we were trying to transfer fish from that pond to basically restock that pond, and that was you guys set that trap just about every day, didn't you?
Yeah. The hardest thing was getting the bucket to keep the water in, because we
Yeah.
needed a lid. So we would either have to drive the Kubota half a mile an hour, or just go as fast as we can and like cover it with something and just sit on it and hope that.
I can see it. Boom, boom, boom.
It was,
And this is one of those things where I bought the fish trap, and I think I went with you guys the first time we set it,
yeah.
and then after that they just kind of took to it and just, and I think that's kind of that's a cool memory that they're going to have about together, because I didn't have that dynamic. My brother and sisters were, he was the youngest of those three, and he's 10 years older than me. I didn't have that close age sibling thing. Connection, yeah. Because I'll hear them talking about stuff. They'll be in there whispering and talking. I was like, I don't have any idea what that's like to have a
Sibling.
that you confide in or whatever, So, and then because I'll learn about something, and then I'll realize that the other one knew about. Yeah, he told me this, or he told me that about
So, tell us a little bit more about this fish trap.
Didn't we get it from like Bass Pro?
No, I bought it on eBay.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just like a half sphere, and there's
Kind of pops out like an umbrella, doesn't it?
It's like an umbrella, but with a bottom, and you just dropped it in, had a big line on it. And
How did you put the dog food in it?
You just put your
There's like a little opening.
We
that
have
you
one
slip
at the
into.
house. We have the exact same thing they're talking about at the house.
It's green.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And there's a hole on one side, and it's with the hole. There's like a net that goes in, and then it closes as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
The longer it gets, the smaller. the
Never
hole
gets.
And
Yep.
then whenever they get all the way through, they can't get back out.
Did you
And-
guys enjoy that?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. But we got mad at that stupid bucket. Like by the time we get to the
Well,
pond,
there was lids everywhere.
I know, but one time we had like just a big, huge black bucket.
Yeah.
And- Yeah, and we were. So I was at. I remember the first time we did it. We were going like half a mile an hour, and the water was like. And I was like, okay, Reed, just drive. And he like turns around, and he's like, "Meh." And we got to the big pond in like half a minute, and we're like half a mile. So every bump and rock that we hit, the Kubota suspension. If you have any experience with Kubotas, they're like tanks. So we're like, bam, 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 and the water's. So,
Flying fish.
Was there any fish there in the bucket by the time you got there?
Yeah, I made sure that the fish stayed in. Reed made sure we got to the pond.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I used that fish trap not very long ago. Like me and my friends were going camping, and I threw it out there, and we there's nothing fishing there at that time. We're gonna cook up some fish, but
Mm-hmm.
we didn't catch any.
Is that in the big pond?
No, small pond.
That one that we always trapped out of?
Do you
I
guys
wonder
like
if they-
fish?
It's pretty good.
I love fish. Yeah.
Like, we're
I
gonna
love
be able to
food.
invest in fish shrimp.
Fish,
Yeah, we know you
fish
love
fry.
food.
Maybe sometime we'll do a fish fry for you guys because we got lots of fish.
Fishes.
We always have lots of fish. So,
We make really good fish tacos.
oh yeah,
Mm.
oh yeah.
Remember when remember the first time I made fish tacos for everybody?
Yeah, Mom was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, everybody was like, "Ew," because we'd got that Traeger smoker, and
You're making like everything.
I was trying to do different things,
Yeah.
and so I had that. So I think we just had tilapia, didn't we? Just store bought fish, I think,
Yeah.
and I said I want to make fish tacos, and everybody was like,
I never heard of fish.
Did you guys like them?
Yeah.
Good.
yeah, I just smoked them for a little bit. I can't remember. I looked up a recipe for it,
Yeah.
but I can't remember what it was.
We actually soak ours in Tabasco sauce overnight, And
Before we bread them,
and then put coleslaw and then tomatillo sauce on top.
we make our own tomatillo sauce.
Wow. I think you guys would enjoy those.
We smoke all the ingredients
Mm.
in the smoker, then we blend the peppers and the what are they, tomatillos and verde sauce is what it is.
Yeah.
So
The verde
we
sauce.
smoke everything down in, and
So
then
I don't
we
think we
blend
just-
it all up. And
We just pretty much made like tacos,
Mhm.
and used the fish for the meat
Mm.
instead of the ground beef or whatever we had. What we usually have: ground beef or shredded beef or whatever.
Talking about using alcohol in food. The other night we had some pretty strong beans. But they weren't cooked down very well.
so what you're saying is you should have threw a match kind of around it. To, woof.
Yeah, it would have been fire beans. They were pretty. They were already
Pretty warm?
alcoholic beans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think most likely
Alcoholic beans.
the flavor of the alcohol stayed, but the alcohol was gone. I'm gonna assume. That's funny.
Yeah.
So
It was good.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Wes is out.
Alcoholic beans.
He's out. You're out.
I'm out.
Are you out? You're not getting any.
I'm out.
So we are gonna try. Come here, Carson. We are gonna try the horse soldier
It was worth a shot, right?
Yeah.
real quick.
Okay.
Just put a little snort in there. Yeah, that's good.
Very, very little. That's good.
So this horse soldier again is horse soldier silver, reserved, barrel strength, 121 proof.
Smells hotter than the other one.
It smells hot. Okay.
It's 121 proof.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, it smells good.
Carson's face was like,
Oh, it's good. It's not that hot. I've had
It's not
worse.
that bad. That if you hold it in your mouth before you swallow it, you won't get that
You won't get that
burn.
where
Is that
it
what she said?
evaporates as you swallow it and it comes back out your nose.
That was better. Yeah.
Yeah. Just let it rest for a minute. It smells good.
no one.
It is real good.
No one heard that.
Huh?
No one heard that.
What'd you say? I'm sure it's
He
on the
said-
podcast.
He said when you hold it in your mouth
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you get a little burn when you swallow. I said, and that's what she said.
Yeah.
And no one was paying attention but
You
me.
didn't say it loud enough.
I did.
Usually I'm on top of those jokes.
Yeah, normally.
No. What's up with
I
that?
think you're trying to be a little reserved.
Yeah,
You're
maybe.
afraid you're going to make yourself look bad. Don't worry. By the end of this, I'm going to make you look bad.
Oh,
I don't know. I like the other one better.
Honestly, so do I. The other one has a lot better flavor. This one, to me, this is so hot that it's more.
There's some of these bourbons, and it's whether they're hot or not. And I don't ever have the technical term. Remember, if it's like this
That
plastic
sounds
bottle, so you can
nasty.
squeeze it so it comes out faster.
That is nasty.
Tell us what you really.
Tell us what you think,
Here.
Gunny.
This is what I think. That's nasty.
They almost have like a
Oops, sorry.
rubbing alcohol taste
So-
flavor,
So that's
and
I think that's because of, in my opinion, I don't know this for fact. When they sit in a barrel, I don't like the Noah's Mill.
Mhm.
That had just great flavor.
Yeah, all the
there
way
was
through.
really no burn to it. And there was only six points proof difference between the two. This is real warm. To me, I think it's how long they sit in the barrel and the flavors they absorb. Like the Horse Soldier feels like it didn't sit in the barrel near as long.
Yeah, I don't have any idea about, but I just know what, and you know, there's some, but the bourbons that I've tasted that are supposed to be really good. They might be really hot, but they don't have that twang or
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's just
To-
it's just too hot for me.
I think this would be.
drink.
I think some like ice and stuff would sure get that one down where it would. A person could enjoy it because it really has good. It smells good.
it smells good, but it does kind of have that that rubbing alcohol backfeed taste.
Maybe put a little pop in it.
Just to let you know, my wife thought about putting pop in a drink out of a $2,000 bottle of bourbon. So,
I cannot drink that stuff straight. That was like
which I didn't let her do.
and I didn't finish it. Let's
No,
put it
I
that
got
way.
to finish that drink. But I do like the Noah's Mills significantly better than the Horse Soldier. And I think it's just their process. I'm starting to think Horse Soldier is starting to become so popular that they're trying to speed up the process.
It could be. I don't have any idea.
I don't
about
know
any of
either
that
for
stuff.
sure, but
I think if we had the apocalypse came or whatever, the zombie apocalypse, and we all had to, I'd have to go find a distiller because I have no idea what they're doing. So
true.
that would have to be in our community. We'd have to have the old moonshiner, you know.
The old moonshiner. I got a couple friends that are old moonshiners. So, Reed, you shared with us what you want to do. You want to be a mechanic, kind of start your own business and all that. So, Buster, you're the closest to needing to know what you're going to do for a living.
It's the farthest away from knowing where it is.
Yeah.
So, what do you think you want to do?
Well, what I know I want to do is come back to the ranch eventually, but I don't know how long until then and what I want to do before then. I am for sure going to college in the fall, and I want to do that. I was planning on going to welding school and kind of try my welder. With all the books I've read and movies I've watched, it's like I want to be the main character. I want to be that guy, and it's just I love adventure. Like coming out here, it's like it's a small adventure.
Yeah.
But it's different every time.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. But I think going out to Colorado, that'll help quench my thirst for adventure, maybe.
Either that or it'll
Or it'll screw it up.
kick it off, and you'll never
I won't
return.
be home again.
Yeah.
Go
So-
again.
That's less likely.
So the one thing I'll say is, if you're going to college, in my opinion, if you're going to college, you either need to get a degree that you can use, like business management degree, because if you get a business management degree, you can go anywhere. Sociology degree. Did I say that right?
I have no idea.
Did I say that right? Okay. Sociology degree is absolutely worthless. That's just telling you how to be a jackass, in my opinion. But what you were saying is going to college and being a welder, doing a tech school job, that is, in my opinion, that is one of the biggest things you can do, because being a traveling welder, there are so many jobs out there right now to weld or be a plumber or an electrician, because there's that's starting to become a lost art, especially like my kids' generation, your generation. They all were pushed, like Jessica and I were pushed, go to college, go to college, go to college. The only way you're going to make it is go to college, blah, blah, blah. And so there's almost a generation of people that didn't take those tech school jobs because they were told they would be less of a person because they're taking a tech job. And like I told Reed, I was like, don't just be a mechanic, open your own mechanic business. So if you, whatever path I think tech schools, 2-year tech degrees, 18-month tech degree schools are the best way to go, because you can be making more. So most welders right out of school are going to make anywhere between $60,000 and $120,000 a year. The average business management degree is going to make anywhere between $30,000 and $45,000 to $50,000 a year starting. So
Pipe welders make pretty good money too.
Pipe welders make ridiculous money.
Yeah.
So if you can get into those things and then eventually learn enough, understand the business enough to start your own business, then you're really raking in the cash.
Well, he's went to Votech, the high school Votech,
Yeah.
for 2 years, and for welding. So he already had a big start on that. But he's going to go to Crowder U, where I went, the 2-year school. And I told him, he went there to agribusiness. They've got a good ag program there.
Yeah.
And so, and agribusiness is something you can do. If you went on to 4 years or whatever, you can do anything with it. You know.
Oh, yeah.
And there's everything from tractor salesman to rancher
To field test engineers.
ag banking. I mean, there, every bank in rural Missouri, whether it's a national bank or just a small bank, they all have like an ag department that they need an ag loan guy that understands the business and the economics of it. And so he's got one thing he's doing right about his because I was the same way. I wanted to go and adventure out of high school. In fact, I guided horseback rides in Colorado, and the day after we graduated, of course, we got out of school on like a Wednesday, and then graduation was on Sunday. And me and my buddy had our job out there, and we wanted to head out there. We wanted to leave like as soon as we got out of school. Like we got out of school midday on Wednesday, we wanted to leave then.
Yeah.
And that's how much we wanted to. But our parents made us go to graduation, and they made us. We couldn't leave until Monday morning. So anyway,
You lost out on 3 days.
yeah, I know there was 3 more days of adventure there that we could have had. But he's keeping his options open. I think that's a good.
Oh yeah.
If you're not sure exactly where you're headed, well, you better be able to go anywhere.
And then the other thing is like Reed, you never know. As you get closer to graduation, your desires may change. The one thing I'll say is the more abilities you have in life, way better off you are. Because I didn't go to college until I was, how old was I? 37? something like that.
You were in your 30s, but
I was in my mid to late 30s before I actually went back to college and got a degree and all that stuff. And then the degree I got was a 2-year degree. But the things I learned in that huge span of time, part of it is I was a steak cook for a local restaurant, so you guys get to enjoy that. And then
We'll see.
then I took the basic high school VOTEC welding and machining and all that stuff, and that built me into where I am at today. And Jessica's been a cook for
I've been
ever.
a cook, and then I took a CNC
machining
class.
course. Yep. So she's certified machinist as well. So the more things you have in your pot as you grow into whoever you're going to become, it's huge. I could get into details about how huge it is, and as you get older and you move into other opportunities, sometimes that degree isn't as important as the skills you developed through the years. So
That's one thing too. That I think he got into that. Well, in Missouri they have what they call an A+ program, and it pays your tuition for any junior college, right, in the state. So
Some are a little different, but it's basically any 2-year college. It's the tuition.
they pay the tuition. So he qualified. I mean, he did what he had to do to get that A+ scholarship or whatever it is. And that's open to anybody. I mean, it's not like it's a major thing to
You have
do.
to keep your grades up and attendance, and then like get 50 hours of tutoring time.
yeah,
So
me in high school, it would have been. Is there an F+ program?
So they have anyway. His tuitions, and then the nice thing about those junior colleges is, like, the housing there was very reasonable price. I mean, and he's got that covered with the, we went through the whole deal with the whole,
Fast food.
yeah, the government college. And I think that's so. I think it's pretty much no more than what it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be all covered. And one thing about that financial aid thing is that everybody qualifies for work study.
Yes, they do. And then the other thing is anybody who isn't real sure what they want to do, a 2-year college to get all your requirements done before you go to the 4-year college is huge, because the cost is significantly different.
Yeah.
Significantly different.
And that's what the nice thing about Crowder is, that they have an agreement. I think they made that when I was there. So you can go any state school in Missouri, 4-year school, with the 2-year degree from Crowder, you automatically have all your general ed requirements waived.
That's huge. Because there's a lot of schools that, perfect example is, there's some junior colleges, 2-year colleges, that you'll go up to, let's say, K-State, KU, something like that. And when you go up there, they'll say, well, that college, their requirements for, let's say, English, I don't know this for sure, but I'm just using an example.
Yep.
Let's say English doesn't meet the requirement our college requires for English, so we're going to knock that out and you got to retake it. And then instead of spending, let's say, $500 a semester for English, now you're spending $2,500 or $5,000 a semester for English.
You've already spent your $500 for English. And
Yeah.
So that's, and I think there was even some of the Kansas schools that would take it.
Yeah.
But all the Missouri state schools will take it immediately. So that's a great start.
So ultimately, let's think about the direction we want to take this now. I know where I want to go. So I've had Wes on the podcast numerous times. I've asked this question to him several times. But you know what? I'm going to start this off by asking my lovely wife a question, and hopefully she'll answer it. What is your most memorable hunting or fishing trip, adventure? That question's coming to you guys next.
The funniest one is when I first started hunting with you, and we were on a friend's property, and then my first time deer hunting, and I was so excited. And it was like it wasn't enclosed or anything, it was like out in the open, and I don't like hearing like coyote sounds, so it kind of spooks me a little bit, but we walked to it, and then we sat up there. And then we sat up there and sat up there and sat up there, and I was like, okay, it's been like 2 hours. And then I looked at my husband, and I was like, so when are the deer supposed to be here? And he looks at me and says, honey, it doesn't work that way. And I was like, well, okay. And then about 30-45 minutes later, there was like 4 or 5 deer like right beside us, and it was cold, and I was so nervous I probably couldn't even shoot because I was shaking so bad. I don't even know if I got a deer that day.
You got a deer that day. But I can tell you this, if the barrel of the gun was my arm, I'm looking at the barrel of the gun and it's doing this stuff right here because she's shaking so bad as she's trying to look down it. And I was like, can you even see the deer? Yeah, I see it in the scope. I was like, is it moving? So
Yeah. That was about like Reed's first deer. He was pretty, you know, and there's something about kids. My kids have always grown. They've been off the growth charts and everything else like that. So they're always big for their age, tall. But there's something about they look mature, but when they go to grab something,
but they are not.
They're not.
Their muscles haven't.
They're that and the relationship of their arm length to their body height, their height isn't right. And I tell you what, and you can't find a youth gun. Most youth guns that I've been around are totally wrong. Totally wrong for their they kick harder and they're designed improperly.
So I tell anybody that's going out to get their youth a shotgun. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use a shotgun. Don't go cheap. Don't go out and buy the single shot. Don't go out and buy the pump. Go out, spend an extra 50, 60, 100 bucks and buy them a semi-auto. A gas-charged eject semi-auto. Because if you get the gas-charged eject semi-auto, it will take some of that recoil off the youth. So, little spiel on what you should get your youth. Along the lines of a shotgun. For a youth, I'd suggest a 20 gauge, gas-charged eject, and your youth won't feel near as much recoil as if you get a spring or charge eject or anything like that. Reed, what was your most memorable other than your funniest? That was your funniest. What was your most memorable?
When you took me fishing and I caught all 5 of those
Wiper.
That was so much fun.
So what my wife's talking about is...
But I have fun fishing anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so we have a very good friend who owns a guide service. The guide service she's referring to is Fins and Grins. They guide at Cheney Lake here in Kansas, El Dorado, and I think Marion. Yeah, I think Marion. we always go to Cheney. So we go out to this guide service. And the guide understands that I'm not there to catch fish. I'm there to let my wife catch fish. And so we both had a very good day. And she was lucky enough to catch 5 wiper, which she didn't get to keep all 5 wiper because legal limit at Cheney is 2 per person. But she was able to catch 5 wiper, but she had to release 3 of them that were all meeting over the legal length limit, which at Cheney is 21 inches. And I think most of these were around 23 inches. They were very large fish.
Yes.
Real good time.
That last one was
Huge.
It was dragging me all around the damn boat.
Yep.
And I was like, oh shit. So, but it was a blast.
Oh, yeah.
I love fishing anyway, so anytime we go fishing, I have fun.
You'd rather go fishing than do just about anything, wouldn't you?
Besides golfing, maybe, but yes.
So, Reed, you're next in line, brother.
Okay. Well, probably like the most exciting and like most get your heart beating. I was like in the 6th grade, and me and my friends went airsoft like on our property. We went camping. We did airsoft war. Like it was crazy. And well, the night before we like the airsoft, we were camping that night. We probably stayed until like 2 a.m. hunting a coyote.
Oh
We went
my.
like all the way around the ranch chasing this coyote with airsoft guns. And we all had airsoft guns, like full armor, like everything. We had a bag of just completely full of airsoft rounds. Like,
Oh my
we were gonna get this coyote, okay? And my one friend, he had like a Gamma air rifle, which is like a 22 rifle.
Okay.
And like that was like our most powerful thing we had. And I had like this not fully automatic, like electric airsoft gun.
Yeah.
So we were
It,
chasing.
it shoots like 20 feet.
It sucked. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
We were chasing this thing around. I don't think we saw it like one time, but that morning after we got done airsoft warning and everything, it took our hot dogs. We saw it running, and it had like our bag of hot dogs. That was probably the most
That's funny.
exciting keep around airsoft guns and stuff. Probably the most meaningful one was when I got my first turkey.
Ah,
That was pretty cool.
so
That's awesome.
tell us that story. So this is what I'd like to hear, and I think the audience would like to hear. From your perspective, from the time you left to go until the time you got the bird and right after, tell us a little bit about that.
Before, well, most people would go out and before like turkey hunting like 6 o'clock, right then.
Yeah, most of them are in the dark.
Yeah, before it gets up. Me and Dad was like probably like 9. we had to eat our breakfast. Okay.
Hold on. I believe that because very seldom do we see your dad before 9.
Yeah. So it was like 9 o'clock. We were getting our breakfast on. We were getting ready. Okay. So we went out there. It probably took us longer to get out to the blind and then get that turkey. Yeah. It was like we walked out there, sat down, got all comfortable. My dad he made like his homemade turkey call with like a turtle shell and a bottle like a bottom of a whiskey thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he's like scratched it, and then big turkey like was it 2 hens came out?
No, just that tom.
Just the tom?
Just
Okay.
well, we had those decoys out
Oh
there.
yeah, we had the decoys, and then Tom came out there, just walked out there, and then
Because it had 3 hens and a Jake decoy.
mm-hmm.
They were all brand new.
It was a whew, and he walked out there, and then anyway, like looked up, and then bang.
Then bang. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was the end.
So,
That's
so everything. Do you still remember how you felt?
Yeah, I was like,
Just shaking like crazy.
yeah.
So, obviously, that's something you're going to remember forever, right? I I'm gonna jump to your dad here in a little bit, but a homemade turkey call. So really think about that homemade turkey call, and tell me, really detailed, what you remember about this turkey call and how it kind of worked.
You have like it looked like the cork.
Don't look at him. Just write off what you remember.
Okay, so it was like an old dead turtle shell.
Okay.
And a bottle, like the bottom of the whiskey, like in polished,
Mm-hmm.
scratched with sand.
Yeah.
And then just, you know,
Really?
yeah.
Worked pretty good?
Yeah.
Whoa! Man down.
Got the,
Pause. Well, don't pause. Keep it going.
Pause.
Well, pause means shit.
I guess my food.
Yeah, if you guys want something.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some. We're going to break out this other bottle,
Nice.
or at least try that other Wilderness Trail. See if it's.
Yeah, this isn't that great.
Fucking food.
When I saw you had it, I was kind of like, probably not
There's
gonna
some
be.
snacks in there. Grab you some crackers and some summer sausage.
I asked you if you
I
had
ate
something to
something.
eat.
I ate something.
Grab you some crackers and some
How
summer
you get home
sausage
there?
and cheese.
Hurts. Did you touch it?
No, it just fell in my lap. It wasn't messing with it at all.
And that's what she. I didn't. Just fell in my lap.
Nope, that real glass.
I was gonna say, don't do that.
It just kind of keeps eking out there and falls off. What happens?
Boy, that's a lot of bourbon. I want to try the new one. I'm gonna
Dump
just
that
dump
one out.
this into something else.
Dump
There's
it
no
out.
such thing as dumping out.
Oh, I'll
No,
dump it out.
not that. No.
What?
Here, he was trying to get a biscuit. Come here.
There's plenty of biscuits.
You could in there for dinner. Oh yeah, there's. No, I'm not sure you can have those yet. There. This is good. So
Mindful of the cord.
I don't know if I want to put ice in there to try it or not.
I do. What's this glass from?
I had water in it last night.
I need ice.
Well, you probably have to put some more in there.
That's fine.
Here, let's put it in the glass. Ice there. That'll work, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna drink mine out of this first.
Yeah.
Hey, you want ice out of this?
No, I'm gonna try it neat first, and then.
Oh yeah, I should probably do the same.
I think you grabbed the original. I'm gonna go ahead and put the green beans and the cheese potatoes in today. It's gonna take a little bit.
Fell down again. Try new. Man down.
Another one?
Same one. Well, we're gonna have to figure this out. Got to get tore up. Boy, we just need a man to do it.
You have fun taking these things off of there.
There.
glass or your glass?
My glass.
Better than mine.
I don't know. Maybe this is your glass. I don't know.
Damn.
Did you get that in?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back out there.
What do you do? Fart? Huh?
Yeah, I've been holding in like this one per time.
Don't touch that one.
I ain't touching it. What she said. Oh.
You with me?
What's this one?
That's the one my wife was slapping around, so.
I wasn't slapping it around.
All
I
your
was
fault.
slapping it around.
Okay.
Slap you around.
What were we talking about before we had to crash?
Turkey call.
Reed was explaining the turkey call to us.
Might have to start over with
So back to the turkey call. So it worked pretty good.
Yeah, well, we got the turkey.
Well, hey. There you go.
So before we moved to Buster, Wes was sorely upset about the horse soldier. So we're going to try this one. And Wes is going to tell us what it is again.
What kind of whiskey bottle
Wilderness
was it?
Trail. I have no idea.
that. It was.
Other than it says Wilderness
Huh?
Trail,
it was a
Kentucky Straight,
it was-
small batch
it was
bourbon
a
whiskey.
circle bottom. Yeah, it's
It's 100 proof. Sweet mash. Made from a traditional mash.
Need your
I don't know.
glasses?
Yeah, need some glasses. Yeah, those are probably too powerful.
No, not these.
Non-chill filtered. Danville, Kentucky. I don't know. I'm afraid it might have the famous plastic cork.
Okay, I'm going to complain about this because I already opened it.
Famous plastic.
I hate these plastic corks. It is a plastic cork. It smells good. Carson.
That's good. I like the way it smells. It almost smells too sweet though.
So Wes and I are going to try this neat. We've got ourselves a cup of ice here. Jessica has refused to try any more.
Well, I'll take a sip out of yours, but that's about it. I mean,
It does kind of have a sweet scent to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you people can drink that
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Kills
Destroy your
us.
liver. Be a man.
This is like
Destroy your
It does have
liver,
some.
man.
tang to it.
It does have a sweet tang to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's that sweet mash. It said sweet mash on the side of it there, so
Oh my
I don't know.
goodness.
No bueno.
Isn't that good?
I kind of like it.
I'm gonna find out here in a minute.
The flavor's good.
Look at this face. Look at this face. Ooh. Jessica doesn't like it.
I kind of like it. Kind of reminds. It's kind of like a Pendleton of bourbon.
Yeah.
Sweet, but it's got a kick to it. I mean, it's got some.
It's got a kick.
Ew. Maybe if you add some pop to it.
What?
There's just some. I think I'm gonna have to go some ice.
Yuck.
I don't know.
Everything tastes a little better.
I can't
with pop.
remember what. I mean, there's a job of them out there with.
It almost tastes like a caramel.
Yeah,
like-
it's got a caramel taste to it.
Yeah.
But it's not a good
We're so-
caramel taste.
We're so technical with our terminology. I smell notes of.
I smell notes of not again.
You don't like it?
There's something weird about it.
I like it.
It's,
Yeah, it finishes weird.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
yeah,
It finishes really hot.
it leaves some kind of
Nasty aftertaste.
taste I don't like. It's not. This is going to be one of the ones you either like it, or you don't like it.
How about some cream soda?
You know, that actually might be good with that.
Okay, I'm going to keep sipping on it, and I'll let you know how I feel about it here in a little bit.
I feel like it's a mixer.
It definitely
A
feels
cream
like a
soda.
mixer. So even the Horse Soldier at 120 proof didn't give me that gut burn.
Mm-hmm.
This is giving me gut burn.
Mm-hmm.
So far, my favorite out of the three is the Noah Mills.
Yeah.
That stuff's pretty good.
By far, that is really good stuff.
As long as it's watered down.
No, I didn't have it watered down.
It's a little
Yeah, if we were going
This-
to do this tasting like this, we should have tried them all neat. I mean, we should have, to be
Just
fair,
started neat.
To be fair to all of them.
Yeah, but
But
the Noah. I'm trying this with ice. It ain't getting any better.
There's some Dr. Pepper in there. Maybe it might taste some good, some Dr. Pepper.
It's still. It's so. It's
Yeah,
I'm
it doesn't
really
finish well.
watering this down, and it is the finish is not getting any better, and the gut burn is still there.
everything about
Dr.
it I
Pepper.
like except for the finish.
Yeah,
There's some Dr. Pepper in there.
I like everything but the. Yeah, that's a good one, Buster. Hee hee. That's what she said. That's pretty good.
You can't take my line. Shut up.
But ultimately, it's not a
just
terrible. It, in my opinion, if I were to pick, Noah would be number one. For me, Horse Soldier number two because I don't get that gut burn, and it finishes better. It's got a better finish, even though it does taste kind of rubby alcohol. But
So you like Noah over the horse?
oh yeah, by far. You're horrible. You are horrible. And then the Wilderness would be number 3 for me, just because of the weird finish.
Yeah, I don't. These would be. Here's the thing: is if I had someone that was like, if I had a guest coming that I wanted something nicer, I would probably buy Noah. I would probably go ahead and buy it again.
Yeah.
Or if I was wanting for a certain thing, a lot of times on a hunt, I'll buy a bottle of whiskey for a hunt,
Yes.
and then I write like the full curl. I've got one.
Yes.
I saved those bottles,
Yep.
so when I went out at hunting, and I wrote on they've got such a cool label. It's like just a plain paper label.
Yeah, and you can write on it.
So
Yep.
I wrote on the side what it was, and then the one that we had for the
Yep.
podcast, I wrote on the side of it
The
for
podcast.
the podcast,
yep.
and the date, and so they're kind of neat. But the other two I wouldn't buy again. I mean, I just don't.
So here's the crazy thing.
I'm not. Now I might buy, but I probably wouldn't buy them again. Like I said, the Noah's Mill, if I wanted to have a little bit
Nicer bourbon.
nicer bourbon for.
So
something.
here's the crazy thing. The Noah was 70.
Yeah, it was the most expensive.
So the Horse Soldier was 80.
Oh, really?
The Horse Soldier was $80. It was $79.99 before tax. And that's a silver. And then what was the other one?
No, let me look at the receipt here. I can't remember.
Can you read it?
All right, so the Wilderness Trail was $52.79,
Which that's way overpriced for the way that tastes.
and then Noah's Mill was $69.99.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think I probably pay a little bit more to get it shipped to El Dorado Springs, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Than maybe you would if I went to Joplin to some big
Yeah,
big
but
retail liquor store. But you know what? I am more than happy to stay right there.
support
in
your
town. You
local.
bet.
Oh yeah. So ultimately, folks, I think Wes, Jessica, and I. What do you think, Carson? So Carson's over there eating. We made him come to the podcast right after work. He didn't have time to eat before he came. So
Gotta work out
unanimously,
drug salvation around here.
Noah's Mill is out of the 3, definitely the better bourbon.
I think it's a plain good bourbon.
Yeah, it is, and it drinks like it's an 80 proof.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't drink like it's 114 proof.
Mm-mm.
It's a really nice bourbon.
You should smell it.
Now, the one we didn't try that I actually had bought for this was it Rowan's Creek.
Yeah, Rowan's Creek, and it's made from the same people that make this Noah's Mill.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And I really liked it too.
That's why it's not here.
That's why it's not here.
He couldn't control himself. We're gonna hope Lent helps him out with some control.
It always does.
It always does. So we are going to unanimously say Noah's Mill is the stuff to drink out of the three. And honestly, I'm not real pleased. I was hoping a lot more out of the Horse Soldier, but oh well.
You know, I like the way we talk about this because we're not trying to be pretentious. We're not even pretending.
No, we like it or we don't like it.
Yeah.
Listen to us. It has that alcohol-y taste to it.
It tastes like alcohol.
It tastes like rubbing alcohol. What is this stuff? We are so far redneck. We can't even kind of pretend to be pretentious. Okay. So where we left off before that, we were talking about the handmade call. I'm going to get to Buster for a sec, in a sec. But this, I'm going to have to ask Wes, because I'm assuming you made this handmade call.
Yeah.
And so break us down the process of making this handmade turkey call.
Well, the one that I used did not have the whiskey bottle bottom on it. I have one with a whiskey bottle bottom on it. So this all started several years ago. My buddy from Alaska, we wanted to like put out. This is when turkey population was really good in Missouri, and success was pretty much you're going to get a turkey.
Yeah.
It might be the first morning, it might be the second morning, but you're going to get a turkey. And if it was a really good day, you'd be like Reed, and you kind of had to kick them out of the way to put your decoys up. It's not like that anymore, and we actually did this. I think we came and actually sold a turkey hunt, and we were going to do turkey hunts, and he was going to looking for a spring thing, and I thought maybe we would kind of work into something sizable enough for him to make a little bit of spring money hunting.
Yeah.
Off of if he wasn't, if he could make it down and whatnot. And I don't know, both of us are kind of old school looking, kind of like stuff like that. I don't know. Just,
yeah.
And I was reading about turkey calls and like the history of turkey hunting and because I was kind of late coming. I was a late comer in the turkey hunting deal. And I don't know, it's those early turkey calls, and they were talking about using, like one of the guys said he had the best thing he ever used was a bottom of a beer bottle, a broken beer bottle in a creek that he found, and you just kind of rough it up with some emery cloth or something, and then you make your striker. It's basically a pot call.
Slate.
It's a slate call, pot call.
Hold on, this stuff's horrible.
Is it getting worse?
Yes, it's not getting better. And you
think that I've had some.
Just pour it in Wes's glass.
I've had some
About
bourbons.
to.
I've had some bourbons that were really horrible, but with the right amount of water or right amount of ice in them, man, they were perfect. But
this ain't getting any better, and it's about half and half water.
The one that Reed, they were called that turkey, and there was an old. On that property, there was this old pickup body, what was left of him. It was just absolutely rotting into the ground.
Oh, yeah?
And it had a piece of a window.
Oh, really?
And I broke that piece of a window out, and it broke perfectly where it fit down in this turtle shell that I had. And it just, you could kind of stick it down in there, so use it for a resonator.
Yeah.
And I just scratched it up with some emery cloth, and then I made a striker. I think I cut a cedar limb.
Yeah, that's what it
a
was.
little cedar limb, and let it dry and peeled all the bark off of it. And I actually took a whiskey bottle cork and stuck it, because it's weird. If you take it, you can take that, because I was really trying to figure out how they worked.
Yeah.
And so you can take just your striker without the top on it. You know, every striker on those has a top, has a piece of wood or something on it. Almost looks like a conductor's baton or something. So
Maestro.
the maestro. So you can take that striker and you can scratch on it. It won't make any noise. If you have something on top of that stick, it'll scratch.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. So I would just drill a hole in a whiskey bottle cork top and stuck that up in there. And so that's what I called the turkey in with.
That's pretty cool.
So just to clarify a couple little points, when he said resignator, he puts that little piece of glass in this empty turkey shell, or not turkey shell,
Turtle shell.
There you
turtle shell.
There you go.
It magnifies
Full of nasty
the
crap.
the sound, right? So that's really neat. That is really neat.
And it really wasn't my idea. I mean, I was reading some old articles, like I found on the
That's
internet
pretty
some
neat.
articles from like the early days of turkey hunting, when those guys were figuring out how to make calls and stuff and figuring that stuff out. And I thought, and they were talking about one of the earliest turkey decoys was a Coke can on a stick.
Coke can.
A red Coke can stuck on a
Oh.
stick and stick it out there in the ground. So you got a stick in the ground with a red Coke can on it.
So it looks like their neck.
And it
when
looks
it's-
like the red head, and that was what would infuriate the other Tom. And
That's interesting.
that tells you even us redneck old cheapos can get a
you
turkey.
can kind of get something done. And I don't know. It's that kind of stuff that it really excites me about hunting at this point. I think you can go spend a lot of money to get some cheap meat in the freezer.
Yes. You can spend a lot. So turkey hunting, if you were wanting to turkey hunt just for the meat, go to the grocery store and buy it.
Yes.
Because it's going to be way cheaper.
But if you double up on your gun, you don't have a dedicated turkey gun. You got one shotgun that you did everything
Yeah.
from upland to turkeys to duck, and that's what they used to do. They didn't have all these super duper, and I use them. I mean, I use them. I've got all the stuff. But they didn't have super duper full chokes, and
No.
Their shotguns probably didn't cost as much as some of these chokes do.
Oh, not even close.
So did you have to pluck your
JCPenney
turkey?
thing that they ordered out of JCPenney catalog, and some old it was a J.C. Higgins, wasn't it?
Yeah, J.C. Higgins.
The
at
J.C.
one
Higgins
time.
that they had in the pennies, or Sears and Roebuck.
Sears Roebucks.
had the J.C. Higgins,
Yeah.
right?
Something like that.
I don't
It was a long time ago.
Anyway, yeah. But
And I'm
those
older
were-
than you, so.
But that's what I don't know, and I think kind of that's what makes hunting fun to me, is to kind of go back to those spots. I don't like.
I think what you did there, to me, seems really cool, because instead of, I have turkey calls at the house that cost a fair amount of money, right? Not a ton, but a fair amount of money. And you go out, find an old turtle shell, cram a piece of glass in there that you've roughed up, and a cedar twig with a cork on it, and you're making and calling in your son's first turkey. How much cooler could that be?
Yeah, I think it was kind of neat.
Pretty neat.
So with that,
That's pretty neat.
that is really cool. So with that, we're gonna roll to Buster. Funniest and most memorable.
Well, I think the most memorable was the second buck, which I told that story earlier. Whoa, that is a big buck. But I think the second one probably just would be the first buck, just because it's the first buck. It was a Sunday morning, and we were out in one of the tree stands. It wasn't one of the redneck blinds, so it it wasn't too cold, but I was bundled up like the kid off of a Christmas tree.
Brr, the marshmallow boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you barely walk?
Yeah, I could barely climb up the stand. We get up there before light, and it was about time to get ready for church. And me being a little kid, I was like, so if I get a buck, do we have to go to church? Well, probably not. We'll have to get it and all that. And so I was like, come on, dear God. But little 9 point, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was a little 9 point. Walks out and I'm like, oh look. And Dad was like, well, do you want to try to wait for a bigger one or just get this one? I was like, let's get this one. And so we get ready, and it hasn't stopped walking since it walked over the tree line. And we were still, had we started growing feet?
It was in a food plot. Yeah, it was in a clover plot. Mm-hmm.
So we were in the tree stand, and there's a little road that goes down to our right, but then it opens out, and it's a little, basically oval food plot, and the deer came out of the right side, or the north side, and so I was walking, and we get ready, and I was waiting for it to stop, and then Dad was like, "Are you gonna shoot? Are you gonna shoot?" And I was definitely feeling it, but I'm kind of like shaky all the time, so I don't have the most control, but I also, whenever I get nervous, I'm not like that. So I was definitely nervous, and I was getting ready, but I was waiting for it to stop, and Dad was like, "Are you gonna shoot? Are you gonna shoot?" And he puts down his call because it was getting almost too late for me to shoot. He does one of the, and to get it to stop, but it almost turns too much, and it's looking straight at us. So Dad's like, "Okay, now imagine me being the deer," and he shows me where to shoot it because it was kind of at an angle, but it was basically facing right at us. So it's right in front of the front
Yep.
hip, and I aim and I shoot, and it was with a 223, and I hit it, and it runs off, and Dad's like, "Oh, good job, good job." I was like, "So do we go get it now?" And he's like, "No, calm down. we gotta give it a little bit of time." So we wait there for a few minutes. I get the gun unloaded. I think we leave one in just in case, but
Well, we got out of the tree stand
Yeah,
first, and then
yeah.
put one in.
Dad says wait here because he didn't want a buck coming and attacking his son.
Well, the thing is we couldn't find any blood.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So with a 223, it probably didn't get out.
Right.
No exit
No
wound.
exit wound, and we couldn't find any blood, but we knew there was some hair there or something. We knew that was the spot.
Mhm.
So I said, well, I said, I'm 100% sure you hit it, just the way it ran off.
Yeah.
And I said, but stand right here, and I'm just going to go down here because it didn't bleed right off. Maybe it
Sure.
started bleeding at some point down. So, but I wanted him to. The reason I had him stay there was
Is a
because-
marker.
as a marker because I wanted to be a reference point to come back to. And so then I just kind of went down from where the track I thought they went down to, and of course they usually run downhill, and but it wasn't very far down there. So and it was laying there. When I came back, what did I tell you? I said I didn't tell you that it was down, did I?
No, I think you told me that you couldn't find it.
Yeah,
And
because I wanted him to
Find it.
figure it out. What would you do in this situation? There's no blood, but you're pretty sure you hit it. What are you gonna do? And so
So what'd you do?
so we both go down there this time, and we're looking around, and I can't remember if I saw it or Dad just
Guided you that direction.
"Hey, walk this way." But we found it, and it was cool. It was like It was so long ago. It's hard to remember.
Mhm.
But it's you know how it felt, but you don't know how to
Express it.
Express.
bring it, like
Yeah.
bring back the memory of how it felt.
Did you have to gut it, or did your dad do that?
Well, he kind of showed me, but I don't. I've been showed how to get a deer. I don't know how many times. But
How many deer have you gutted yourself?
myself 0, but I've helped, and
He's
I
done-
know how to skin
well,
a
he-
buck. But
He does all the. I mean, they help when the veterans come, like him and Wyatt. They're just tag team it. You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
they're just on it. So I think you could do one
yeah, I could do that.
by himself, but I
Does
don't.
it
It
weird?
would take a while, and if I started at noon, we'd probably be using flashlights for the end. But I could do it, and I know how to start. And,
Oh, I've got it too. I've got a fair amount. But-
yeah, when the veteran hunts out there, like if Wyatt's him and Wyatt are there, they're always out there. And then they're out there digging in the gut pile, and
yeah,
it's like just.
throwing hearts at each other. And,
You should save the heart and grind it in your burger.
we
Seriously.
had one veteran. He took it. He took a bite out of it, and then he went inside and cooked it and ate the rest of it. But it was. He was
We had the
cool.
blow darts, and we were blowing the darts at it.
Oh yeah, Wyatt had a blow dart gun one time.
We
And
shoot
he was
pigeons with it.
Like,
So,
Oh, dear God, you guys probably have some stories.
so that's your most memorable, right? So, what's your funniest?
funniest. I can't really say it's really funny.
It was funny to you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I was out with my uncle and cousin, and it was our family deer hunt. We all go to the hunting camp with my mom's dad and my dad and my uncle and cousin and me and Reed. And me, my uncle, and my cousin, we all went out together, and we were in the blind, and I got my second buck out with the.
Oh, that is a big buck.
No, you weren't.
No, we
Oh,
were.
you were.
Yeah.
You started out there. Okay. Yeah.
And there's this little, it was a 6 point, and it was walking at a decent point. He must have been smelling something that he liked. And he knew where he was heading. But,
Yeah.
uh,
Every teenage boy knows that one.
So my cousin, he shoots at it, I think 3 times, and it never ran off. It didn't even look at us. It didn't look. He was on a trail. He was smelling something, and never ran off. But he hit it on the third one. Third time's a charm. And we spend that day getting it, and we bring it back to the house. And I can't remember if it was we go back out that day or
It was the next morning.
it was the next morning.
Because you guys went out that night, but you didn't see anything.
And we were in a different blind, and it was across the fence. It was in the sanctuary, we call it. We don't have any cattle out there throughout the year usually.
Well, there's a spot that we don't hunt,
Okay.
but there's a food plot on the edge, because if you only make a sanctuary with nothing to draw them out of it, where are they going to go?
Yep. Somewhere else.
Right, they're going to go to the sanctuary.
Yeah.
So so we have a food plot on the edge, and you can hunt the food plot, and obviously if you hit your deer and it goes into the sanctuary, you can go in there, but otherwise you're not supposed to even go in there during hunting season.
Okay.
And the idea of that is to give deer a place to go, so you don't just totally run them to death.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is all on private land, anything that's on my property is on my neighbor's property. So if I have a spot where they can go on my property,
They'll stay on
no
your
one-
property.
that no one can hunt, when the neighbors are putting pressure on them, they'll go to that spot and they'll stay there.
Yeah. And they learn that.
Yeah.
They learn that over It takes one season
Mm-hmm.
typically. So